Today's episode focuses on a part-time scientist and luchador wrestler, Lisa Hamilton. Please note that this trivia may not follow the story and lore directly. Lisa Hamilton, also going by her ringside name La Mariposa, is one of the head scientists in charge of two of Victor Darvin's bioweapon experiments, Project Epsilon and Project Alpha, the latter being a success. She has also been best friends with Tina Armstrong since high school, and is highly skilled in volleyball due to experience in their school's volleyball team. As much of an important key character to the main story as she is, Lisa would make her debut in the most unlikely of places. Rather than a mainline fighting game, Lisa would debut in a little spin-off game called Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, perhaps you've heard of it, on January 22nd, 2003, exclusively for Microsoft's Xbox. She would later make an official mainline series debut in Dead or Alive 4 2 years later, under the alias of the masked wrestler La Mariposa, with Tamaki being the only other Dead or Alive Extreme character to make this transition after nearly 2 decades, albeit a non-canon appearance. While there have been many Lucha Libre characters in fighting games before, Lisa is the first luchadora to ever be playable in a 3D fighting game. And just like Kokoro in our previous Minisode, she was featured in IGN's Video Game Babe of the Day in 2006. Her ringside name translates from Spanish as the Butterfly. In the context of Lisa Hamilton's character, it can be interpreted in many ways, depending on the cultural reference. Western cultures, both old and new, see it as a symbol of good fortune and rebirth, which aligns perfectly with her predicament in Dead or Alive 6. Eastern cultures see it as a symbol of reckoning, which was what became of the old Doatech after Lisa helped create Alpha 152. And if we're being fair, Ayane may have a little something to do with it. Lisa Hamilton was originally voiced by acclaimed Japanese voice actress Maya Sakamoto, and is also voiced by 2 English voice actresses, Masasa Moyo and a longtime voice acting veteran, Wendy Lee. Maya Sakamoto was born on March 31st, 1980 in Itabashi, Tokyo in Japan. At a very early age, she took up the voice acting business and would land her first official lead voice acting role as young as the age of 12 in a little-known anime OVA called Little Twins. But her first true breakout role would come in the form of one Hitomi Kanzaki in a little isekai/manga anime TV series from 1996 called Escaflowne. Perhaps you've probably heard of it. But as Sakamoto's voice acting resume grew exponentially, she would only broaden her career horizons in theater, with a credit of the Japanese adaptation of the musical Les Miserables to her name, as well as the music industry. Inspired from the success of the hit single of Escaflowne's opening theme performed by herself, along with Yoko Kanno's music composing genius, Sakamoto would go on to release 33 single albums, 10 studio albums, and 4 mini albums as of 2022. On August 18, 2011, Sakamoto would marry fellow voice actor Kenichi Suzumura, with the birth of their very first child earlier this April. Aside from Hitomi Kanzaki's character in Escaflowne, Maya Sakamoto's most popular voice acting roles include Lin Xiaoyu from the Tekken series, Otoko Kusanagi from the modern Ghost of the Shell series, Mari Illustrious Makinami from the rebuild of Evangelion film series, Aerith Gainsborough from Final Fantasy VII, and of course, Lightning Farron from the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy. Masasa Moyo was born on January 23, 1970 in London, Ontario in Canada, born to a Zimbabwean father and an American-Irish-German mother. Always wanting to be an actress since childhood, she began to pursue acting once she attended local theater in her college years. Her first professional acting role would be as delightful Slocum in the 2001 film Kingdom Come, starring LL Cool J and Whoopi Goldberg. However, her acting skills would really start to take notice in the fan-favorite DC animated universe series Young Justice, where she would forever remain synonymous with the Bumblebee, Karen Beecher. Masasa Moyo's other notable roles include Tally Wong from Celebrity Deathmatch, Twilight Pronima from Tales of Symphonia, and LeBlanc from Final Fantasy X-2. Wendy Lee was born on February 20th, 1960 in Los Angeles, California. Though there is not much information about her early life at present, what we do know is that she studied in dance and theater, and at one point became a full-time dancer before kickstarting her voice acting career as early as 1985. That year, she would debut in the English-dubbed adaptation of Macross, Robotech, as the character of Vanessa Leeds. From there, she would be the go-to voice actress for many anime distributed and dubbed by Streamline Pictures in the 1980s, including Kiki's Delivery Service, Nadia, Dirty Pair, and the groundbreaking Akira. She would go on to bolster many credits to her name over the years, but her arguably most famous role that would put her on the map would be Faye Valentine in the late 1990s anime classic, Cowboy Bebop. She would later take her senior experience in voice acting to the next level as an ADR voice director and scriptwriter for several projects, including Digimon, Outlaw Star, and Bleach. Some of Wendy Lee's notable voice acting roles in her massive resume include Twilight Suzuka from Outlaw Star, the titular Haruhi Suzumiya from the anime series of the same name, Yoroichi Shihoin from Bleach, Lisa from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Detective Conan from the feature film Case Closed, The Fist of Blue Sapphire. And now, it's time to close the case on these voice actors and reopen the files on our star attraction. In the original Dare Live Extreme Beach Volleyball, Lisa is not only the tour guide at Zack Island, but is also your optional default partner. She is easily compatible with every other character in the game. Yes, even Kasumi, Ayane, Helena, and Christy, and is also the most well-rounded volleyball player as far as stats go. In the Crash Club of Dead or Alive 4, all the club remixes for the playable characters in Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate, barring Hitomi who doesn't have one, are used for the corresponding character. But rather than Lisa's own theme being played in the Crash Club, it defaults to Tina's club remix theme instead. Also, did you know that in Lisa's character ending for Dead or Alive 4, the gang of wrestlers Lisa fought in order to save Tina are the exact same thugs Lei Fang and Jan Lee beat up in Dead or Alive 3? Gotta love the fact they brought them back from a previous sequel for comic relief, but it's a shame that the only NPC that made it back to Dead or Alive 5 was the clumsy old man from the train. In the late Monty Ohm's fan-made web series Dead Fantasy, Lisa's voice clips were used for Tifa's battle cries. Not only that, but Tifa's German suplex on Hitomi is choreographed almost the exact same way as Lisa did in her character ending for Dead or Alive 4. Lisa Hamilton is the only character in Dead or Alive 5 with two unique sets of character intros, victory poses, and even unique character select poses as both herself and La Mariposa, depending on the costumes chosen. Her behavior in these two personas are also completely different, as Lisa is more calm, confident, and reserved, while La Mariposa is cheerful, suggestive, and energetic. The irony of this is that Bass Armstrong also has an alter ego of his own, yet doesn't get the same treatment. In the hardest difficulty setting of survival mode in the original Lisa Dead or Alive 5, Lisa will always be the final opponent. This unlocks her mock swimsuit from Dead or Alive Extreme 2, and it can also be unlocked by playing 200 ranked matches online, win or lose. However, in Dead or Alive 5 Last Win, this can be unlocked by completing any mode on any difficulty 5 times. And now for our last bit of Lisa trivia. While Lisa's full name is common knowledge among DOA fans today,
Lisa Hamilton.
Lisa Hamilton?
Lisa Hamilton.
this hasn't always been the case. In fact, Lisa's surname Hamilton was never revealed until the release of Dead or Alive Dimensions in 2011, 8 years after her debut. It was also believed that Lisa's nationality was African American at the time, but many years later, creator Tomonobu Itagaki confirms that Lisa's nationality is in fact Latina. He later goes on to say that Lisa may not actually be her real name. Could there be more to Lisa's childhood that we don't know about? Who can say? And that's it for the files on Lisa's trivia. If you want to learn more about the woman of many talents, you'll have to wait until Season 4 of Dead or Alive Lore Explained. And now that the ladies of Dead or Alive 4 have gone first, tune in next time as we shift our trivia focus to Dead or Alive's youngest gentleman.